Will Smith's life and legacy unfold like an expansive story woven across decades, carrying within it moments of triumph, reinvention, struggle, purpose, and unmistakable brilliance. His journey begins long before the lights of Hollywood found him, long before global acclaim, long before the blockbuster titles and red carpet glamour. It begins with a young boy from West Philadelphia whose dreams seemed too big for the world around him, yet whose spirit refused to be contained. Growing up in a neighborhood filled with warmth and culture, but also with challenges that could easily dim a young dreamer's ambition, Will developed an early sense of humor and charm as both shield and gift. These qualities, effortless charisma, infectious confidence, and a remarkable ability to connect, would eventually propel him toward a destiny too vast to imagine. Even then, people around him felt a certain spark. Something about him hinted that he wasn't simply going to follow the path set before him, but carve one uniquely his own. His early years in music were shaped by curiosity, rhythm, and a sense of fun that mirrored the light inside him. As a teen, he began experimenting with rap at a time when the genre was rising but still defining its voice, and he discovered a sense of freedom and identity in rhyme. Partnering with DJ Jazzy Jeff, Will, soon to be known to the world as the Fresh Prince, brought something refreshing to hip-hop, storytelling packed with humor and relatability rather than aggression or bravado. Their music felt accessible, joyful, and uplifting. When they won the first ever Grammy for Best Rap Performance, it wasn't just a historic moment for the duo, but for the genre itself. Will Smith had announced himself on a national stage, and the world had begun to listen. Yet, even as success found him early, it did not solve everything. Financial struggles nearly derailed him before his ascent truly began, teaching him that talent alone is never enough to sustain a dream. But in that difficult moment came an unexpected opportunity, one that would introduce him to his next chapter, and eventually, to a global audience that would come to adore him. When Will stepped onto the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he wasn't simply playing a character. He was playing a heightened version of himself. His charm radiated effortlessly, his comedic timing carried the rhythm of a seasoned performer, and his presence seemed to fill not just a living room set, but entire households across America. The show was a sensation, but more importantly, it became a cultural cornerstone. Episodes touched on themes deeper than comedy: identity, family, race, responsibility, loss, and reconciliation. And in the midst of it, Will Smith's performance grew richer, more emotional, more nuanced. When audiences think back to some of the most heartfelt scenes, like the one where Will breaks down over his father's abandonment, they do not merely recall acting. They recall honesty. They recall a raw moment that felt as real as anything they had ever seen on television. In those scenes, in those laughs and tears, Will cemented himself not just as a star, but as a storyteller who understood people. But for Will Smith, staying in one lane was never an option. His ambition was far too expansive, his imagination too restless, his belief in possibilities too deeply rooted. As his television fame reached its peak, he set his sights on something larger: film. It was a risky leap. Many actors faltered making that transition, but Will wasn't simply aiming to succeed. He intended to redefine what a global movie star looked like. When Independence Day exploded onto the screen, so did he. His charisma carried scenes with effortless finesse, his humor balanced tension with perfect timing, and his confidence turned an ensemble film into a showcase of star power. The very next year, Men in Black proved it wasn't luck. Audiences across the world saw a performer with magnetism rare in any generation. Someone who commanded attention, who elevated every scene, who made cinema feel both thrilling and joyful. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Will Smith became synonymous with success. His films broke records, his performances resonated, and his brand of charm and intensity made him a figure who transcended borders. He could deliver humor with ease, action with authenticity, and emotional depth with sincerity. He became the guy who could carry a summer blockbuster on his shoulders, the guy whose name alone guaranteed excitement. In an industry where longevity is rare and reinvention is essential, Will manage to evolve continually, each role revealing a new dimension of his artistry. Yet beyond the numbers and accolades, what truly mattered was how he made people feel. Audiences didn't just watch him, They rooted for him. They saw their own aspirations, imperfections, and complexities reflected in his journey. But some of Will's most defining work came not from action or comedy, but from biographical and dramatic roles that required deep transformation. When he portrayed Muhammad Ali, he wasn't merely acting. He was channeling a historical force, embodying not only the physicality but the spirit, pain, conviction, and defiance that defined Ali's legacy. That role challenged him more than any before it, demanding discipline, introspection, and emotional excavation. It stretched him, sharpened him, and ultimately solidified him as a serious actor of extraordinary range. But even Ali would be eclipsed by a performance that touched hearts more intimately and universally: the pursuit of happiness. Playing Chris Gardner, a father fighting for stability, dignity, and hope, Will delivered a performance so raw and human that it transcended the screen. People cried with him, believed with him, and found in that story a reflection of their own struggles. It remains one of the most emotionally resonant roles in modern cinema, a testament to Will's ability to turn personal vulnerability into artistic truth. As the years went on, Will Smith continued to reinvent himself, sometimes through blockbuster spectacles, sometimes through intimate dramas, sometimes through interviews, books, or heartfelt reflections shared with the world. What became clear was that his impact extended far beyond entertainment. He became a source of motivation, a voice reminding millions that dreams require discipline, that growth demands discomfort, and that failures can become turning points rather than endpoints. His openness about personal struggles, marital challenges, public scrutiny, and moments of imperfection revealed a man who understood that authenticity mattered more than maintaining a flawless image. He allowed the world to witness not just Will the superstar, but Will the human being, searching, learning, evolving. This vulnerability did not diminish his legacy, it deepened it. His presence began to evolve from simply being a performer to being a mentor figure, a storyteller of wisdom gained through experience. He spoke of fear, ego, purpose, and love with a sincerity that resonated deeply with people who had grown up watching him. His memoir opened windows into wounds and triumphs the world never knew. His reflections about fatherhood, identity, ambition, and resilience offered lessons rooted in decades of life lived in both spotlight and shadow. People listened not because he was famous, but because he had something meaningful to say. And yet, like all public figures navigating intense scrutiny, Will faced challenges that tested his character and reshaped public conversations. These moments, humbling, complicated, deeply human, showed that even those who seem larger than life carry battles unseen, unresolved, or misunderstood. Through introspection and accountability, he worked to grow from those experiences, and in doing so, reminded the world that redemption is part of the human journey. Imperfection does not erase years of impact. Growth is a lifelong commitment, not a destination achieved once. Will Smith, in all his complexities, became a symbol not of perfection, but of evolution, a reminder that legacies are shaped not only by victories, but by how one rises after stumbling. As people look back on his body of work, what stands out most is not just the scale of his achievements, but the emotional resonance of his storytelling. His laughter became part of the soundtrack of childhoods. His dramatic performances became reflections of real struggle. His blockbusters became moments of shared excitement. His vulnerability created space for honesty. Will Smith's legacy is stitched into the cultural fabric of multiple generations. He has been the soundtrack of youth, the face of cinema's golden summers, the voice of inspiration for those searching for direction, and the embodiment of a belief once simple but now profound, that dreams, no matter how impossible they appear, are reachable. What makes Will truly unforgettable is the generosity he infused into everything he touched. He gave joy freely, shared knowledge openly, and carried himself with a sense of purpose that extended beyond self. His influence helped elevate artists, inspired countless performers, and gave aspiring dreamers a blueprint for ambition anchored in authenticity. Even in his most challenging seasons, he continued searching for growth, humility, and renewed purpose. His journey reminds us that greatness is not static. It is forged through constant reinvention. In the end, Will Smith stands not merely as an actor, musician, or entertainer, but as a cultural force whose story will be told for decades. His artistry shaped eras, his vulnerability touched hearts, and his evolution continues to inspire those who believe in second chances, reinvention, and the pursuit of happiness, both literal and metaphorical. His legacy is a tapestry of joy and struggle, triumph and reflection, success and growth. It is human, complex, and deeply meaningful. And long after the credits fade, long after the applause quiets, long after the lights dim, the world will remember the boy from West Philadelphia who rose to unimaginable heights and carried millions along with him through laughter, emotion, inspiration, and truth.